Karunanayake Mahata.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, for giving the opportunity to move a private member's motion. My private member's motion that I am submitting is to make new laws to regulate contempt of court proceedings, that this Parliament resolves that new laws should be brought in to regulate contempt of court proceedings as to strengthen democracy and to maintain a vibrant free media ensuring equal justice to all. Honourable Deputy Speaker, my reason in bringing such a private member's motion in today's context is owing to the last couple of weeks' activities that have certainly found that there seems to be the contempt of court proceedings which are applicable for opposition members and government members. It is not only that laws should be made for the Parliament members, but also for who we represent, the people of this country, and that is the most important aspect. So, let me try to introduce what contempt of court is. As per the Oxford Dictionary, disobedience to or disrespect for a court of law and its officers. Now, this is the English interpretation or the Oxford interpretation of contempt of court. Now, is this the real application of law in this country? The application of law should be similar to whether you are in government, whether you are in opposition, or for any citizen of this country. Now, Honourable Minister, as they say, the law is there, is blind, it cannot hear and it cannot speak, but only the truth needs to come out in the basis of a free and fair judgment. Now, on this basis, sir, it is very important that we bring in laws in today's context in order to ensure that we are able to have a free and fair laws enacted in Parliament. Now, Honourable Dudley Senanayake, when he was the Prime Minister, he mentioned the following: there are some things in every true democracy which no mandate can ever destroy. Even if a majority agrees, the freedom of speech, the freedom to organize political parties, the freedom of the press, and the right to vote, to elect your representative at elections, these are features which cannot ever be abolished, even if the majority agrees. A country which deprives any man of these fundamental rights and liberty is not a true democracy. It's not even really human society. A free people should not be condemned to state slavery under cover of an alleged mandate. That is Senanayake. So this is even more true when Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru mentioned, we shall never allow that torch of freedom to be blown out however high the wind or storm in the tempest is. Now, Deputy Speaker, my reason mentioning this is because you see, it should not be applicable for a member who is in government today where the law gives him exemption, or when it's in opposition, you ensure that you use it to create a problem against him. I once again mention this in example, Honourable S.P. Dissanayake. When he was in government as a minister, he did, as per the Supreme Court, make a statement that was defamatory, or contempt of court. Now, at that time, he was hauled before and told that he had made an act which was contempt of court, and he was severely warned and sent. That was when he was a minister under Chandrika Kumaratunga's government. Now, the same minister became a member of opposition in 2004, just after the Chandrika Kumaratunga president dissolved the Ranil Wickremesinghe government. And at that particular moment, a statement that he uttered in Habaradua, in your good electorate, was used to such an extent that such a member was incarcerated for 2 years. For what sin did he create? Just for using a balu kiyana vachane, නියෝජ්‍ය කතානායකතුමනි, එතුමා විපක්ෂ හිටපු මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් වශයෙන් අවුරුදු දෙකකට මේ අවස්ථාවේදී he was not a minister. No. No, he was Samuddi, but he was taken to action when he was MP. Why? In 2006?
He was
What more am I? I am before the culprit itself. So you know better, but the problem is you made the statement with the ulterior motive, make it political and otherwise, but he was punished when he was a minister, he was MP under UMP government. Why not? In 2004 at the convention. After UMP convention, it was. I mean, we know for a fact, we were going all over the countryside trying to protect the interest of now who is a minister in your government. So you could see that there are two different standards that are applied when you are an opposition member and a government member. Now, once again, I seek your indulgence, Honourable Deputy Speaker. You have the interpretation of the appropriation bill. The appropriation bill under Supreme Court SD 15/2012, it was contested in Supreme Court. At that particular moment, Justice Mrs. Shirani Tilakavardhana, Justice Priyad Depp and Mrs. Iva Vanasundara, Justice, gave a judgment on this. And that judgment very clearly states that in future, any loan that is taken in government has to be notified to Parliament prior to signing a loan that is there. So before you put any extra debt onto the country, you should come to Parliament, notify it and get back. What you do, you pay scant respect to that. Now this is also part of contempt of court. Now at this instance, nothing happens. Now, may I take another example? On the infamous impeachment of sorry. You all do all the Shiranis, all the Bandar Nayakas. Next.
She is not impeached.
But it may be the next harsh judgment that is given against the government, you will be probably use not 20 hours, you will use 1 hour and get impeached. You know that, no? So on that basis, now imagine if we told that the Chief Justice, because as per Sarath Silva, I am very cautious in using as to who the Chief Justice in the country today. Mr. Sarath Silva, when the impeachment motion was in process, gave various interpretations. No sooner there was appointment of a...
Yeah. Honourable Hakim.
No, the thing is the names of some sitting judges were mentioned, though it is jovially mentioned, if it is reported it may not be good. Since it refers to impeachments and all that, I think I'd rather prefer that those parts be expunged.
Yeah, such...
Speaker, I take absolute objection. We are supposed to be supreme. What are you talking? You all brought the Supreme Court Chief Justice to Parliament.
Yeah, so if there is anything that has been stated contrary to the standing orders, such will be expunged.
No, but I take objection on that particular issue. Honourable Justice Minister just has got up from his sleep now. When the Chief Justice was being impeached, nothing was told. At that particular moment,
Honourable Deputy Speaker, we must understand.
We are supposed to be supreme. You see, so why worry about the rest of it?
Honourable Minister,
we must understand impeachment is a very, very serious procedure. And then when we try to... No, now people are trying to make it as if, they are referring to names of judges who are sitting and are cracking jokes. So this should not happen. No, if they want to, let them move.
Yeah.
You see, rather than...
Yeah.
No, it may not be good if these things get reported.
ගරු නියෝජ්‍ය කතානායකතුමනි විනිශ්චයකාරවරයෙක්ගේ නමක් කියවූ පමණින් ස්ථාවර නියෝගවලට පටහැනි වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ විනිශ්චයකාරවරයාට යම් චෝදනාවක් කරා නම් ඒක අදාළයි. දැන් ඒ නිසා මේ දෝෂාභියෝගය තිබුණු බව කියවූ පමණින්
ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මෙතන විවාද කිරීමට ඒ සම්බන්ධ අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. මගේ නියෝගය තියෙන්නේ ස්ථාවර විනියෝගවලට පටහැනි යමක් සඳහන් කොට තිබේ නම් එකී පටහැනිව සඳහන් කොට ඇති කාරණා වාර්තාවෙන් ඉවත් කරනවා කියලා. එහෙනම් මේක වාදයට අවශ්‍යතාවක් නැහැ. But no, I have decided if there is any statement contrary to the standing orders, such will be expunged. It is very clear. So long as there had not been anything contrary, you don't have to worry about. Yeah, what is the point of order?
In that case, sir, nobody need to raise point of orders, no? the speaker can say anything contrary to the standing orders will be expunged.
Yeah,
then you don't need
either upon raising or speaker on his own. So that's very clear.
Yeah, but
okay, Honorable Ravi Karunanayake, that's very clear.
No, I like an interpretation. On Honorable Sujit Sarasingha's answer, because that is true. Without me knowing, Hansard editor can decide that he is against
Hansard editor cannot decide unless there is a decision by the chair. Hansard editor cannot decide on anything on his own. Yeah.
Raised the privilege issue. Because when I spoke, they said it's not parliamentary language. Then they said it's not. But then a member must raise and say this is not.
Either member can raise it or the chair can decide.
On a specific. No, you can't make an open statement and say whatever against standing rule that can be.
It is up to the chair to decide.
Then chair can.
As per the standing orders, chair takes the final decision.
No, so final decision on a point. You can't give open statement.
Yeah. You cannot.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, I expect that there will be a more justifiable approach in doing this type of thing. You should be basically saying something in this house, not allow it to suddenly allow some clerk somewhere to remind you that it is against this. No, but Honorable Deputy Speaker, you were better than a presidential council during the impeachment motion. You said we are supreme. So why can't we today, as members of parliament, say anything against any of the court judges? What is the problem? My Honourable Justice Minister's amiable disposition was somewhat perturbed today when I mentioned the judge's name. When the country's Chief Justice was impeached, you were totally silent. As much as you were totally silent when the Muslim temples will be broken. Yeah, there's nothing that happens. I know your conscience gets pricked because you are on this side and you got the mandate with us, so I know you're going to justify both ends. So what to do? So these are, remember these laws are being made for you in government today. When you are in opposition tomorrow, you may be faced with the same thing. But when we are making laws, Honourable Deputy Speaker, we are make such a thing that is fair and it is equitable for everybody, not only we. We are supposed to be supreme. We are supreme on behalf of our people. If we make a statement and we can get scot-free, the same person must be able to get scot-free. Because that is important, like what you did in Habaradua. So, Honourable Deputy Speaker, now let me get back to the point that I was trying to mention. Now, if we were members of opposition that brought these allegations against the Chief Justice, and imagine if we gave such a thing outside, without bringing it to Parliament, we gave it outside, I am sure the Justice Minister would have been very busy these days bringing contempt of court charges against such members. But when it comes on the government, what happens? You steamroll the process through. Not only give the Chief Justice, any rogue in this country given 6-7 months to defend himself in court. You gave her 24 hours in Parliament to justify yourself in almost 1,000 pages. So, Honourable Minister, Honourable Deputy Speaker, all I stand here is to ensure that there is a sense of justice that prevails. Like George Bernard Shaw says, democracy is a device that ensures we shall be governed no better than we deserve. That is certainly true. But what we are trying to say is just because the governing is bad today, that we must make laws to ensure that better governance takes tomorrow. That's what we stand for. So, Honourable Deputy Speaker, all what we want is to bring sanity in. Now, Mr. Sarath Silva, former Supreme Court Chief Justice, mentioned, that's why I'm mentioning his name because I don't want to be going out of context. See, he says today that there are two Chief Justices. Now, does anything that he utters outside, he doesn't have privilege like what we do on behalf of our people. Now, such a statement that is uttered by him, can the present Chief Justice bring him to court and say it's contempt of court? Why shouldn't he? It's the question my colleague is asking. So these are the matters that I thought it was most opportune to take such a moment take this moment to bring such examples which are in real terms today. And that is, I'm sure you want to intervene with something.
No, you have exceeded your time. You have been allocated only 10
Assistant
minutes.
Secretary General is very, very punctual on these matters. I beg of her to ensure that we got caught up with other matters. I am sure your generosity will flow through her to give a couple of minutes more. But we have some eminent,
And there are 3 more members on your side who are expecting.
eminent members that will speak, and I'm sure there will be a couple of them respond to the government as
Yeah.
well. All we want to do is that whatever that is debated in this House should be for posterity and ensure that what we say is what we really mean to get things done on behalf of the people. So, Honourable Deputy Speaker, I would like to ask the Justice Minister on this basis that statements that are being uttered, there are many very cautiously. I am happy to see that the Supreme Court on an intervention that has been made against the appointment of the Chief Justice has been referred to a fuller bench. But in interim, until and such time things happen, what do you think would be the case? So that is why I like to broaden the base to ensure that such contempt of court matters are reduced. We are supposed to be supreme. So let us discuss anything and everything we want. Not only when the government wants to impeach a Chief Justice, that the Supreme Court becomes secondary to Parliament. No sooner that finishes, then back again the interpretation right gets back to the Supreme Court, and the constitutional rights can be interpreted by them. Then our supremacy relegates it to a secondary position. So these are matters, Honourable Deputy Speaker, that we need clarification. All I want to do is to increase the powers that are vested with us to show that we can discuss matters at any given moment that basically doesn't run counter and have such things that happen, heinous things that happen to Honourable S.P. Sanaka happening to any one of you all. Any one of us could be the case. Not only all, not only us today in opposition, maybe all in opposition tomorrow, but that's not the way laws should be brought in. That is why we were, even the previous one, we were asking, define who a terrorist is, rather than keep a nebulous, ambiguous statement that is there, so that then you know what actually is black and white. So on this basis, Honourable Deputy Speaker, all we want is I request the entire Parliament to look at on a much more broader basis, look at our right as well as the right we represent on behalf of our people. They must be enshrined with the right, with the new legislation that I intend bringing to the private members' motion, so that they can speak without fear or favour and ensure justice prevails in a country that today justice seems to be buried with the bringing of the 18th Amendment and burying the 17th Amendment. Thank you.